Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of KindSoup, because today is World Kindness Day. And so we've got a little bit of a bigger, what do we have, agenda today. And we're going to take all of us from, I don't know how you're feeling. Hi, Lenny. Good to see you again. We're going to chase away those blues that might be plaguing you the way they've been plaguing me lately. And we all have learned that doing kindnesses for others really is like the best medicine that you can have when you're feeling a little bit discouraged about what might be going on, either in your own life or in the community, the world's community, like I am right now. But it's fantastic to see all of you back here cooking with us today. It's nice to have Kevin join us with his wife Anne and his dog Bella from Pennsylvania. And Michelle Haybach is on. Hi, Michelle. And we're also cooking with Soiree today, which you will hear all about, an exciting new startup in New York City. And I am going to first hand it over to Salma to introduce the day, and Saanya and Soiree, and to get us all started. Hi, Dominique. And now I'll be quiet. I'm going to ask everyone to stay muted until Salma invites us to speak today. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We are making a Moroccan green lentil soup today. I actually have finished mine. I think Lisa may have finished hers. It's really good. It really, and Joyce has made hers. It turns like some chopped vegetables and a couple of cups of lentils into a really a meal bursting with flavor. So for those of you who are making it today, I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's a vegan soup, so you'll mark your canisters that you're sharing, just vegan. That makes it easy, unless you're using a broth that contains some chicken broth. This is a fully vegan meal. All right, somebody give me the thumbs up when they're ready. Otherwise, maybe I can start us off. One more second. All right. All right, and if you guys haven't started yet, you're going to start, of course, by chopping your onions and carrots and celery, and measuring out your broth if you're using Better Than Bouillon to make your broth. I, of course, made mine using the the scraps from my vegetables, and I found it good, but it needed a little bit more of a boost. So that's now what I do, is I make my broth using whatever the vegetables of the day are and add a little bit of Better Than Bouillon just to make it even. Oh, and I always put some dried mushrooms in. So that's a way that you guys can not only chop your veggies and compost, but in between those two steps, you can also make broth out of it.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I'm going to do, Salma? if everybody is busy cooking, let me just go to the gallery view, and everybody give me a thumbs up if you're already working on your soup.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
All right, I'm going to go back to, let me just say hello to Dominique, to Shazma, and to Fatou. Good to have you all with us today.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Sorry for the, I got frozen for a minute here, but we're back. Nice to welcome you all. Thank you for joining on this very special day, World Kindness Day. I think every day should be Kindness Day, but there's one in particular that just helps us really focus on kindness and how that makes the world go round, really. And I'm so excited to welcome all of you to this special session of KindSoup. And I'll just tell you very briefly, because there are a few new folks on the call. Welcome. Just a bit about KindWorks. We're a nonprofit organization. We've been around for 15 years now. And what we do is spread kindness and make it easier for people to volunteer in their own communities and do some good. I mean, I think we're all busy, but we have big hearts, and we just try and make it easy to help people find opportunities to volunteer in whatever ways they'd like to make a difference in the world. And KindSoup is something that we started just when COVID started. You know, the need was so great, we couldn't gather as a community like we used to. So we came up with this idea of cooking from our own kitchens and connecting via Zoom, feeling a sense of community at a time when we were feeling distant from each other and couldn't connect, and just making a huge pot of soup and sharing it with our families, sharing it with our neighbors, sharing it with healthcare heroes, sharing it with anybody who needed a soup hug. And I think we all continue to need these soup hugs. We share our soup also with food banks and with shelters and with people in need. And so those joining us from outside of the DC area, please do find people and places to share your soup with. I am joining you today from New York City, from my daughter Sanya's kitchen. She's going to be leading us in our Moroccan green lentil soup, and also sharing a little bit about her startup venture, which is really quite cool. And perhaps I'll just pass it over to her. There are a couple of friends cooking with us in the kitchen, and we'll just take it from there. This is really casual and you know, fun and social. We have a couple of questions that we'll queue up about kindness. We'd love to focus on that theme today. We'd love to hear from people about a kindness that they've received that is particularly meaningful for them, small, big, whatever comes to mind, and a kindness that they've shared that has really made an impact on someone's life. And also who your kindness hero is. So it's a conversation. I think we'll ask you to just perhaps put in the chat if you'd like to share, and Deb will call on people. So perhaps keep yourselves on mute for the moment. We'll get the conversation going, we'll get the soup going, and
hi everyone. Good. Okay, hold on. I was trying to get olive oil in there. Yeah, you just dumped the rest of the olive oil. Hello. Oh, I'm Saanya. I am one leg down, so I have two friends with me. This is Anna. Hi. And this is McLean. Where is she? Hi. Helping because I am immobile. And in my kitchen, cooking is always a communal activity, which I really love. It's my favorite form of play and hanging out. But I'm excited to be here. A little bit about Soiree. Soiree is a company dedicated to reviving the lost art of entertaining for a new generation. So making dinner parties, hosting, entertaining in whatever form you so choose, accessible and easy and stress-free, and not something overwhelming or something that you say, oh, I'll do it one day, I'll do it one day. It can be as easy as ordering pizza and eating on the floor, if that's what you want it to be. It could also be hand-painted menus. And yesterday I hosted the inaugural supper club, which was fancy dress and menus and amazing cuisine by a very cool Brooklyn chef. And yeah, so that's a little bit about Soiree, but it's also a lifestyle dedicated to romanticizing your life and making the little things feel special and giving back in whatever way feels easy and comfortable every day, and in little ways and big ways. And so excited to be here for World Kindness Day. So let's start with the soup. Okay, so start by putting a like third of a cup of olive oil into your pot. Just do it. I can't. Oh, it's out. It's out.
Excuse me a second, Deb, there's an email from someone named Marina Bowser that said none of the links are working for her. Does that name mean anything to you?
I emailed her back with the link I used to get on, so that's taken care of.
Thank you, Dominique. I'm sorry to interrupt.
So I'm salvaging some to start with, but most of it's
Dead. That's it. Oh, so once you have a about a third of a cup of olive oil in the pot. You can put in your carrots, onions, and celery. They should be, diced small. They don't need to be any uniform shape. They'll all be in soup. And then we'll just stir that around for about 8 to 10 minutes until the onions are translucent.
Good to see Lisa Mitnick sign on, and Marina, I'm glad you made it on. Thank you, Dominique, for helping. And Sharon, have we met you yet? If you want to unmute for 1 minute and introduce yourself, we're happy you're here, Sharon.
Hi, I'm Sharon Everett. I live in Baltimore, but have a few friends that told me about this, so happy to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you. Thank you. Happy World Kindness Day to you. And I think I'll take just 1 more minute and introduce Kevin Smith and his wife Anne and their dog Bella, who can tell us for a minute about why he and I got connected and what he is doing to spread kindness around the world.
Well, thank you so much, Deb. Hello, everyone. Well, my life has been forever changed because of random act of kindness on Good Friday morning. My wife sent me to the store to pick up 2 items, and I came back forgetting one, which was my wallet. And a Good Samaritan woman named Brooke returned it within 2 minutes after returning home. And it's changed my life profoundly. Number one, it's reminded me to see the good again. It's changed my whole perspective of the world, restored my faith in humanity. It's also given me a renewed sense of meaning and purpose. Basically, it's led me on into an adventure of a lifetime, just to acknowledge this Good Samaritan, find out who she was, go the extra mile for her like she did for me, and take it on a life of its own to the point where I've now started my own nonprofit called kindnessworldwide.org. Its vision is to create a culture of kindness in our communities and beyond. Has a number of initiatives, including kindness citations by police departments. York City was the first in the country to launch just today. We have kindness curriculums we're going to be implementing in our schools. We have See the Good and Be the Good cards, and official proclamations of Kindness Week. We want to recognize humanity's greatest assets. So York City was the first to proclaim Kindness Week, November 11th to the 18th. That was followed by York and Adams County in Pennsylvania. Last Thursday, the governor of Pennsylvania recognized Kindness Week, and we're not going to stop there. So It's been an adventure of a lifetime. I can't thank you enough, Deb, for all the great work of KindWorks, how we met. I mean, this is perfect in the spirit of World Kindness Day, community collaboration, grassroots initiatives, which is what Kindness Week is all about. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful to be here.
It's terrific. We're really glad to have you. I'm going to send it back to Salma so that our soup keeps going, but we'll talk to you throughout the hour. So as you guys are cooking soup, we're going to be cooking and we'll chit chat as we go. Go ahead, Salma. Thank you,
Great.
Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Amazing to meet you, at least on Zoom, and hopefully we'll meet in person soon. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for what you're doing. It sounds incredible. You talked about a kindness that changed your life, and that's really what the theme is for today. And I wonder if perhaps you could mention a kindness hero, somebody in your life who you consider a kindness hero.
I'd be happy to. My kindness hero is Orly Waba. She's a key figure in the World Kindness Movement. We've met through this great adventure. She's done TED Talks. She founded her own nonprofit called Life Vest Inside. She was going to join me in embracing this effort of Kindness Week and what we're doing here. And unfortunately, she lives in Jerusalem and a war broke out and really changed her plans. But I saw Orly speak about 7 years ago about kindness, touched my heart, very inspiring and uplifting. And, there's no one better in my mind that just exudes positivity and kindness than Orly. And, if you don't know her already, check out her TED Talk, check out her website. And no doubt she'll be a kindness hero to you as she is to me.
If you have a chance, maybe you could just put some of those links in the chat, Kevin, so people can copy them after they're done cooking. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Perhaps even as we're coming towards the end of the hour, I would love to play her video that went viral, right? That's how I came across her several years ago. Just came across my feed, or maybe when I was researching kindness or something. And it's an incredible video and amazing story behind it. So I would love to share it with everybody. But let's get back to our soup for the moment. Saanya, what's happening?
Okay, so now if everyone has translucent onions in their veggie mix on the stove, then we can start adding, you can add the garlic in, and then and then the tomato paste. So tomato paste, I think we're doing a half a cup, but that would be 4 ounces, and I hate having 2 ounces in a tin in the fridge because I never use it, so I'm using all of it. Can you open it?
Because as Dominique tells us, soup is very forgiving. So another ounce of tomato paste is just going to make it a little bit more yummy.
That, and then also with the spices, like I didn't have ground coriander, but that's the main ingredient in like a garam masala. It's also very similar to cumin. So whatever spices feel right. I'm also adding ginger, onion, and garlic powders because I want to.
How's everybody doing with their soup? Are all
Anybody
your
have any questions? I think everybody's busy at work. Annette Tracy is on. Welcome back, Annette. Nice to see you. Julia Small, nice to see you. Cheryl signing on. Hi, Cheryl. All right.
So I didn't buy the ingredients, so I'm just making something else while you're telling me how to cook this.
Okay, good. We're still happy you're here.
I just wanted to be part of Kindness Day.
You know what? We are so happy you did.
So glad you're here. And Annette, welcome. So good to see you from New Jersey. Annette and I have a really interesting and I think quite inspiring story of how we met. And I wonder, Annette, if you would share that with us.
Hello, Salma. It's good to see you again. And it's good to see all my friends, my cooking friends, old and new, and especially on this World Day of Kindness. The world really needs more kindness. So let us all be that example. Salma and I met, I don't know now how many years, it has to be, I think about 13 years ago. I live in New Jersey, and my daughter was a freshman in college in Manhattan. She went to Pace University. And my husband and I, my daughter and my son, we belong to Resurrection Parish, which is a Catholic church. And I work at the Catholic Church as the director of religious education, educating the children who go to public school. If you go to Catholic school, you don't have to go to CCD classes, but if you go to public school, and my husband's involved in the church, not only myself, my son and my daughter, when they were in high school, they were very involved. But when my daughter was a freshman in college, I saw that she was looking into becoming Muslim, and I didn't really understand or know what was going on with that. And my husband and I went over to Manhattan right away to see her. This was about 13 years ago, and I had not known any Muslim people, and I only knew what the media wanted people to know. And I was very frightened and, of course, upset. This was out of the blue. And I just started to research. I wanted to reach out to somebody who maybe had this experience, a Catholic mother with a Muslim daughter who was becoming Muslim. So for some reason, I did a lot of Googling, and I came up with Salma's name. She had written an article. She lives near Washington, D.C. I'm up in New Jersey. My daughter's in New York City. And this article was about it was about Ramadan, right?
Yes. It was called Not My Mother's Ramadan. And it was
That's
just
right.
an ordinary story about a day in the life of our family during Ramadan.
So it was beautifully written. It was interesting. I knew, of course, this woman was Muslim. And she was a public figure, so there was an email address there, and I just wrote to her and said, help me. This is what's going on in my life, and can you offer me any guidance? I mean, I said, sorry for the intrusion, to intrude in her life, but if you know Salma, she's such a beautiful, kind soul, and she right away wrote back to me, and it started a friendship that lasted many years. And for about 9 of those years, we had never met. And then we finally did meet through Kind Works. My daughter and I came down to Washington when we were there was a fundraiser, and it was very nice. And my daughter's been Muslim now for 12 years. And I've really learned a lot over the years, and I've really come to peace in my heart and acceptance. And I know that she really loves God. And even our Catholic faith tells us that it is the same God, that the Abrahamic religions, the Jewish religion and the Muslim religion, Islam, and the Christians, we all come from the line of Abraham. So I feel very positive that she loves God, and it's the same God that I love. And I'm okay with everything that's happened. But Selma has been such a great friend, and so many things. I wrote to her with so many questions. And when my daughter was getting married to a Turkish Muslim man, what does this mean? What does that mean? How do I do this? What do I give my daughter's in-laws as a gift? What's proper? So Salma has been such a great, kind person.
Thank you. Thank you.
Annette. Salma, if I can say, if I don't want to get in the way of our soup cooking or what you want to say, but I would love to just, I've heard Annette tell this story before, and the way I heard it today just moved me in a whole new direction, because Salma had the courage to stand tall and let you look at her with like a microscope, right? And you didn't shy away or become embarrassed. And Annette needed to see what this was about, and she needed to be able to ask someone questions that someone else may have thought was like an invasion of their space and they're feeling safe, but Salma had the confidence to just answer all your questions. And it reminds me so much. And for that, Salma is definitely one of my kindness heroes. But it also reminds me of this gentleman who joined our work in the jail a few years ago. We used to go to the jail and help the people who were going to be getting out become more life ready and job ready. And this one man came in. He was an amazing guy. He wanted to teach chess to the younger men in prison. And I said, okay, why? And he goes, look, Deb, chess is an intellectual game. These guys are smart, and a lot of people don't take them seriously. They're how smart they are seriously. But more important than that, I don't care how much chess we do. They need to just check me out and see a Black man who's successful and who is devoting his time to them, who believes in them. And they need to see me. And that's why I want to do this. And he volunteered with us for 3 years until COVID shut down the program. So, I mean, kudos to everyone who doesn't get all strung out when someone says, oh, you're Jewish? Let me ask you, like, where are your horns, or what's this about, or what's that about? I mean, there's a lot of people who don't know others, and to have that confidence to stand tall and be an example to people who have never met that before is a gift to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Annette, for sharing, and for Deb for sharing as well. Just, I'll pass it on to Saanya, and we'll continue in a minute.
A little bit on the soup front. So now you should have the tomato paste and in with the veg and your spices in. So now you can put in about 12 cups of broth. You can use water and a little bit of like bouillon paste. I use chicken broth because I had that homemade, and I always prefer homemade broth. So that, and then you can add your lentils and your bay leaves, and then we'll get that to boiling, turn the heat down, and let that simmer with the top half on for 45 minutes once it's rolling. Oh, we'll add the potatoes before putting the top on and letting it for the 45. But let it get to a boil first.
And one tip, Sonia, that we have learned the hard way on Kind Soups is to count the number of bay leaves you put in there, because boy, you got to find them on the way out. So count them before you put them in, everyone.
And if anyone has questions, actually just unmute and ask them. We're a small enough group that we can do that. So I'll just pause for a minute here for any urgent soup questions, and then we'll continue. Are we all good? Great. So I just wanted to say thank you again to Annette and to Deb for sharing those stories. Annette, it's amazing. You know, I think our connection, for me as a storyteller, it's about the power of our stories, our ordinary everyday stories. And if there's one thing I'd like to encourage everyone on this Zoom is just to share your stories. I mean, that piece that I wrote, and it doesn't need to be published. It doesn't need to be anything, you know, fancy. Just with each other, as you meet neighbors, as you meet people at work or at your kid's school or in the community, ask how people are doing. Pause to really listen, and just start a conversation. I find I do that often in Uber rides and at the grocery store, and it's, for me, I am just blown away by people's stories. I think each one of us, our stories are beautiful. They're unique to each of us. They're precious, and they should be shared. And it's amazing how they connect us to each other, you know, to people that we may not have met otherwise, and just to each other. To really start that friendship and start that relationship. And that's what happened with Annette. I mean, who knew that this very ordinary story about a day in the life of our family during the month of Ramadan, which was published in this women's magazine, would result in this beautiful friendship. I mean, Annette was courageous enough to reach out. I'm so glad she did. We have this virtual friendship for so many years until we met, and here she is on our Kind Soup Zoom session. So I think it's amazing what one little gesture of kindness can result in, that ripple effect. I know Kevin's nodding. He's seen it. I think we all have. So on that topic, perhaps I can just ask Shazma, I know you might be driving. I don't know if you can share with us a kindness that has happened to you or that you've shared, or perhaps a particular hero that you'd like to mention?
Well, I am driving. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So I will try to make sure I don't miss my exit or get pulled over by the police. But I just, and I'm so glad, even though I couldn't be in my kitchen, all my ingredients are there. I couldn't join. I know so many of you, either through Salma or I've met you when I've been in DC, Dominique and Deb. I've heard Annette and Salma share Annette's story. And I just want to sort of echo what, you know, Salma is saying, which is, it's both, you know, the acts of kindness of giving as well as receiving that is so nurturing and reaffirming. And I just, in this particularly painful, difficult, dark times, the only way to feel good about anything and keep moving forward is to just continue to do small acts of kindness. And for me, my kindness hero is an unexpected person, I'm sure, from what many of us imagined, was really my mother-in-law. She was a very kind person, and she was extremely kind to me. Salma had the good fortune of meeting her, and she was one of those women who did acts of kindness every single day without any fanfare. and she used to live with me for extended periods of time. I had 3 small young kids, and really I was able to, those early years of motherhood, which were very challenging in many ways, but for me, it was always my mother-in-law who was there helping, encouraging me, telling me to eat well, take a nap, and she was, I always, when I think of women, men, people in my life who are the epitome of kindness, really the first person who comes to my mind is my mother-in-law. So that's my kindness hero.
That's
Love that.
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Shazma. I think, how are we doing on the soup, Saanya?
It's gonna take a little while to get to a boil, because there's so much quantity in there.
Okay, is everybody, have you put your stock or water or whatever you're using in your soup? If so, just keep it on high, right, until it boils?
Yeah, until it boils and then we can turn it down.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I have to say hello to Martine and Olivier. How are you two today?
Yay.
Ah, confetti. What are you celebrating?
World Kindness Day.
Hi, it's World Kindness Day.
Ah, fantastic. Do you
World
have a story
Day.
for us about who you shared your soup with in this past week?
Yeah, we well, not well. That was last week, not this week. But last week,
Past week. Yeah, did you go on Tuesday and meet our friend?
Yeah, we shared it with Jimmy on Tuesday.
You know, there's a lot of new people who don't know your Jimmy story. Can you give us a real quick recap of who Jimmy is and how you came to meet him, and tell us about last Tuesday's delivery?
Okay, so we met. Go ahead. Okay, yeah, so we met Jimmy. We met Jimmy. Well, my mom did. My mom has a whole story of meeting him.
Well, we did it together. Go
No,
ahead.
but you're the one who met him first.
I think it was about a month ago, and it was after you cooked some soup on a Monday, and
Yeah,
you went on a Tuesday.
My mom had the idea of just giving the soup to him.
And
Mhm.
who's Jimmy? Can you tell a little bit about Jimmy? Where
A guy
is he?
on the side of the parking lot. How do I
You're
explain that?
mumbling?
He's like next to the parking lot in Bethesda.
Mm-hmm. I know and exactly who you're talking about. He's been sitting there for years next to the parking lot. And
Right.
so, how did you approach him? Was it very uncomfortable?
Well, the first time it was like that.
It was raining out? Is that what you're telling me?
No, it wasn't raining, but it kind of felt weird. But
Yeah.
then
What happened?
What'd you do? Did you just kind of like put the soup down and keep walking, or did you talk
well,
to
no,
him?
we talked to him a bit, and he like
What did he say?
he said he loved the he said he liked the soup a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he said that he also said that he studied and then
Anatomy and physiology?
yeah, thank you.
Wow, huh? Did that surprise you?
I didn't really know what that was.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what that was actually.
But were you surprised that he said he went to college and studied anatomy and physiology?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I don't even know what
surprising.
anatomy and physiology is, but yeah.
Yeah. And so
You're
you've been
surprised.
going back every week after you cook on Mondays and delivering whenever you can on Tuesdays?
Yeah, he's from Tallahassee, Florida.
Oh, wow. Uh-huh. How long's he been up here?
We don't know. We didn't ask.
And what was the discussion last week? If you delivered soup to him on Tuesday last week after you cooked?
I don't remember.
Well, what did you go back to ask him? Remember I said go back and ask Jimmy
Oh yeah, how long? When he'll be there?
what days he's there.
Yeah, what days he's there? He's there. He's there Monday and Tuesday until 8, and then Wednesday and Thursday he comes there at 2:30.
I heard that when you're not there on Tuesdays, he's looking for you and asking about where you are.
Do you remember? Remember what he said? Because we went last Tuesday, well, Tuesday of the Halloween, and he wasn't there. So when we went Tuesday to deliver the soup, we couldn't find him. And so we walked up and well, we didn't walk. We drove around Bethesda, couldn't find him. And then we just held on to the soup. And then while Olivier was at school on a Monday, because normally we make the soup Monday and then take it to Jimmy on Tuesday. So last Monday I saw him and I said, "Hi." And he said, "Hey, where's my little man? I miss my little man." I said, "He's at school, but we'll be here Tuesday. Will you be here tomorrow?" And he said, "Yes." So then on Tuesday we went. He was excited to see Olivier.
Oh, that is fantastic. Thank you guys so much for sharing your kindness story, your weekly kindness story. I'm sure you have others. I'm going to hand it back to Saanya for more soup instructions.
Any more?
No more, but I love that story so much. We all did.
That's such a beautiful story. Thank you, Olivier, for sharing that and for doing what you do. Such a kind fellow you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's great to see you. You used to cook soup with us regularly, and it's good to have you back. And thank you for being here. And Deb, perhaps we can just take a minute to talk about where we share our soup locally.
Yes. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I think Lisa wants to say something.
Absolutely.
Well, first off, I'm really excited to be on the call. And Selma had sent an email, I think, about a week ago. Well, maybe you did a social post, and I really
I specifically sent you an email too. So
an email, whatever. It was, and it made me want to come. But I was thinking we had Employee Appreciation Week about, I don't know if it was last week or the week before. And I feel like, you go through day to day and everyone's working so hard and you don't take the time to just say, "Thank you. I appreciate you." And it doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have, just telling somebody that I see you, I appreciate you, thank you for everything you do. And it goes like 800 miles, in the air. And I felt like just that little act of recognition just gives everybody a good feeling. So, sometimes it's about, feeding the hungry and sometimes it's about, and doing something really monumental, some of the stories that we've heard, but sometimes it's just saying thank you and appreciating and recognizing a colleague or a friend. And so I just wanted to add that because it doesn't always have to be over the top, right? Like it can be something, a simple act of kindness too.
So agree. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa, for sharing that and for being here. And you're so right. I mean, just acknowledging someone's presence, appreciating something about them, just two simple words, thank you, and it holds so much weight and really can change someone's day, someone's outlook, someone's life, I think. So thank you for that reminder.
Just a reminder to add another reminder to add the potatoes in and then partially cover your soup so it just simmers and all of the potatoes and veg infused with all of the fun spices.
So it came to a boil.
Yes, and now bring it down to a simmer.
Perfect.
Okay, and I think Karen, you want to say something, right?
Hi, I just wanted to share a super quick little unsung hero story. I was with my college roommates this past weekend, and we were talking about Thanksgiving plans. And my one friend, Kay, who lives in Atlanta, said, "Oh, we don't," and her boys live across the country, so it's not easy for them to come home. And instead of my friend Kay and her husband going to see them, they stay home because their next door neighbor, who lost their 12-year-old daughter to suicide 3 years ago during COVID, because of cyberbullying, my friend now stays home at Thanksgiving so that her next door neighbor and the family, their 2 other kids, can go away, and my friend takes care of their dog because the dog can't go to doggy care or have others for whatever reasons. And so my friend and her husband stay home at Thanksgiving so that her next door neighbor and her family can go see other family. So I thought that was pretty remarkable.
It's remarkable. And I love about that so much that, like everything else in the world, you're looking for a one size fits all answer, because wouldn't it be easy if you just took it off the shelf and here's how you're kind? But no, it can be a million different ways. And it's just specific to a situation. And that situation is what the person needs. And it's also the way you like to give, right? And it's that special when they come together. It's like magic. It's like Olivier's confetti going off and fireworks in the background there. And I love that. It's true in everything. You can't parent the same way. You can't be kind in the same way. Everything is, unique to the situation and to your personality. I love that, Karen. At first I'm listening and I'm thinking she's going to have Thanksgiving with that family. That's so sweet. But no, she's allowing that family to go do something by taking care of their dog, because that was their stress. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's such a beautiful story, Karen. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to ask Marcia to share about where she is going to share her soup. But Marcia, before you share, Deb, can you just explain generally what we do with our soup and how people on the call should be sharing?
Yes, and I'm excited to see if we've got 26 people, let's just say 25 on this call, and everybody is going to probably have about 6 quarts of soup, even after they eat their own dinner. And so that's 150 quarts of soup. And we kind of figure that's 2 bowls of soup, 2 nice size, meal size bowls of soup. So that's 300 people could benefit from what we're just doing here and having some fun with today. So that is just amazing. And what we like to do is ask everyone to share them wherever they see it would be needed and appreciated. During COVID, that was a lot of people that you'd run into. One of the people on this call met us because during the government shutdown many years ago, and I hope we don't have to redo this next week, Salma wanted to reach out to somebody who was a government worker, and not somebody who's desperate for food, but just who she could share some treats with or a meal with, to say, I know you're going through a hard time right now. And so I connected her with Betsy, who's on our call, who was part of the government shutdown, and they've been friends ever since. And Betsy's been a huge friend to KindWorks ever since. And so I just gave 3 quarts of soups to my friend whose dad passed away last week, and she couldn't have been more thrilled. So many people brought food to the Shiva. She didn't want that. She wanted something to have the following week when she didn't feel like cooking, and she wanted to remember that, like, her friends love her and keep going. We got you covered for this week. So she was thrilled. Our soups go to everybody like that, and they also go to the food assistance providers. On our website, we have listed 6 or 7 choices in the DC area. And we've also shown that in New York City, there are free outdoor refrigerators that you can take your soups to. I do when I cook in New York. Saanya does when she's in New York. Salma's going to do it today because she's in New York. There are, I think Annette shares with, I think, her church community. I have cooked while I've been out in Lewis, Delaware, and shared with groups out there. I've cooked in LA, and there are free outdoor refrigerators in LA. And where else? And we've got a few others around the country listed on our website as places where people in other parts of the country can share. In York, Pennsylvania, I encourage and invite Kevin and Ann to give us places that would like our soups, and we'll grow a community of kind cooks in York, Pennsylvania. And I personally, so I just shared with you that I just gave 3 to a friend, and I brought a whole bunch yesterday to Here to Help, which is an organization in Bethesda that shares with families who are food insecure in Chevy Chase, Kensington, and Bethesda. And so in addition to the pantry bags that they get produce bags and pantry goods, like all the canned goods and flour and that kind of stuff. They're also going to get fresh homemade soups that are frozen and delivered. We have a few food assistance providers in this area that rely on our soups to supplement the food that they give to the many, many, many families that they support.
Deb, can I add on to that? Because a lot of, Betsy.
Yep.
The vendors at the Bethesda Farmers Market, or a cluster of them, also donate their leftover produce. And when I say leftover, it's not the dregs. It's this beautiful, last time there were like boxes of beautiful lettuces and apples and squash. And so in addition to the wonderful soups and the canned goods, they get fresh fruits and vegetables, a lot of them organic. And I think it's a real treat. So it fills out the bags. One of the things I was going to add about kindness, you know how sometimes you go to a funeral and you hear these incredible things about the person who died that you never knew about, and it just feels like an inspiration to oneself. So a friend of mine, Lynn Landsberg, who maybe some of you knew, was a rabbi, had a traumatic accident on Reno Road and was in a coma for a long time, but actually came out of it and was able to recover a lot of her capabilities, but ultimately developed cancer. But at her funeral, I learned that she learned how to say hello in just a dozen different languages. And every time she would get into a taxi or an Uber and she would see the nationality of the driver, she would say hello in their language and ask them about their families and talk about unseen people. You know, the drivers, you're all looking ahead and you're there looking at your phone or thinking about what you need to do when you get out. And she made an effort to engage personally with each and every one of these drivers. And sometimes she would get the same driver and they would recognize her. Imagine how that felt for her, you know, that she knew that she had made a connection there that was meaningful to the driver. So something for us all to think about in learning greetings in various languages. It's a challenge, but you know, if you're determined, you can do these things.
What
So
a
thank you.
beautiful idea. Thank you, Betsy.
That's such a beautiful story, Betsy. Thank you for sharing that. Marcia, can I ask you to share where you're going to be sharing your soup with?
Yes. So I've been going down to Calvary Women's Services, which is it's actually a series of services for the homeless, but one of them is down in Good Hope Road on in Anacostia, and it's one of their. They have 6 facilities. It's all for homeless women, people who identify as women, and this particular one has lots of services, social work, employment help. They help get them into apartments. And I've been going down there to do a series on nutrition, but and that actually is part of a program they have called LEAP, which is Life Skills and Arts Program and Education. It's a great organization. It turns out that about a third of the homeless people are female, but only about 4% of DC's beds for homeless are for women. And so there's a huge shortage, and this organization is now, they're celebrating their 40th anniversary. They really help loads of women get into their own employment and their own apartments, and it's they're doing wonderful things. So I see them on Tuesdays, so now I'll be bringing my Monday night soups down to them on Tuesdays. So that'll
That's
work out.
fantastic. I love that so much. Should we add them to our recipients in the DMV or no?
Well, it would be great, but you know, I don't think they have a way of getting it from anywhere except if it's actually brought to them. So,
well, but if we had DC kind chefs.
Oh yeah, if they could get over there. I'm actually trying to see if I could set up a partnership with DC Central Kitchen so they could deliver produce there. But let me ask them tomorrow if there's, you know, if there's some way.
That would be great. And can you all, is your partner, your former doctor partner still accepting some soups from us and from you? Can you just tell everyone we have so many people on today? I'd love them to hear how that happened.
Sure.
It's another great way. Yeah.
So I shared an office with a good friend of mine, Dr. Aruna Nathan, who has gone on to work at a place called Absolute Care in Prince George's County. And it's a clinic that serves the underserved with very, very high social and medical needs. And so for the last few months, some of us have been donating our soup to her. Her clinic tries to give out bags of groceries, and she's been adding the soups to her bags of groceries for them, and they've been loving it. She's gotten great feedback from that. So that's another possibility, I guess, to donate to her if either soups could be brought. Is Carol on the call? I can't.
No, she's not on
see
today.
it. So Carol Weil and I have been, and you, Deb, have been bringing soups to her, and then she brings them to her clinic. So I'd be
And what I
happy
love
to.
so much about that is, in addition to what you've already shared, I think that I remember that she was really excited to introduce those folks to healthier eating.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
our soups are almost always vegan. And if not, they have very little unclean about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really
they're all
love that.
good.
It was an introduction to good food made
Yep.
cleanly, and hopefully it inspires them to give that kind of food a try that they didn't grow up eating.
Yeah, and I don't think it would be required for it to be vegan at all. It's just our foods are so full of vegetables and whatever, they'd all be good for that.
Mhm. Thank you so much.
So,
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I just
Thank
want to hear from others who they'll be sharing their soup with. One of the people that I shared with every week for the past over a year was my father-in-law. He was very sick. He had cancer, and he looked forward to these kind soups every week, and always anticipated what new flavor, what new ingredient, what new taste he was going to get that week. And till really the very end, he used to have kind soup. The last few weeks I would blend it, pulverize it so that he could swallow more easily. He passed away sadly about a month or so ago. So he loved kind soup, and that was the one person who I loved cooking for and sharing with, in addition to others. So anybody want to share their story of who they'd be sharing this soup with, or who they've shared with in the past?
This is Karen Leggett. I would add one thing about, I live in one of the high-rise condominiums in North Bethesda, and we have I got started doing this because there's one couple in the building, Maya and Jay Newman, who sent around an email asking anybody who wanted to participate to make soup and deliver it to them, and they would deliver it to one of the shelters at the centers. So there are 4 or 5 apartments now, all making soup every week and delivering it to them, and they deliver it. And then each one of us gives it to somebody in the building, or a neighbor, or a friend. I have an older friend who lives alone, and I always give her some of the soup, and once a neighbor across the hall, and just other people within but it expands it just because we're all doing it in the building. And it's a great idea for anybody else who happens to live in any multifamily building.
It's been so fabulous that you all have been doing that. I think actually that Maya and Jay are one of my kindness heroes as a team,
exactly.
because they've really, like Marge has done at Har Shalom, they have made this accessible to all of you in that building.
Right.
So that's fantastic. I would love to remind all of you, even though my dog would like to say something else, that even those soups that you give away to people, we'd love you to report them. So Salma, all those that you gave to your father-in-law, that was a kindness. Karen, those that you give to your neighbor, those are kindnesses. So while our website is saying we've given away 12,000 soups, that could easily be 20,000 soups, because I know that a lot of these soups, it's like, no, it's a friend of mine. No, it's my Holly Gural gives to her mother every single week. I don't see those show up on our report. So you guys, don't be shy. We are not just giving to food assistance providers. We're giving to people, and we're creating, like Kevin, a more kind world. So please do use our link and let us know what you shared and who you shared it with, and tell us some fun stories so we can give other people ideas like you all have been sharing with us today.
Yeah, Deb, I'm guilty of that myself. During COVID, I took on another job to help with making ends meet. And I started working for an agency as a caregiver. And on Tuesdays, twice a month on a Tuesday, I take a man to get his eyes examined. He has a problem with his eyes and his wife is blind. So I drive them to the eye doctor and I stay with her while he's in the eye doctor's appointment, and then I drive them home. And it's twice a month. And I feel so guilty because they pay a lot of money to the agency. Like, I'm not making a lot of money, but
Yeah.
they, you know, I know they're paying a lot to the agency. So I've been taking care of them for 2 years now, and automatically I would just bring them soup every single time.
Yeah.
And now, like today, the soup I'm making today is going to go to them. So often when I jump on here on a Monday, I take the soup to them. But even if I'm not jumping on, I'm still bringing them the soup. But I should write that down. So
Well, it'd be great. You know what? We're thrilled that you're doing it either way, but we'd love to see our numbers zoom up too, because that's fun. But Tuesday seems to be a weekly soup delivery day, huh? Everybody's sharing their soups on Tuesdays. I love that.
Okay, I'm very shy and I haven't spoken at all. So I know you know how shy I am. I'm going to start with, I do record the soup I deliver to people, and the people I deliver to almost every week are a couple who are in their 90s, and she has done things. She's very excited. She's on the soup email, and she's very excited. I send a soup email to a group of congregants at Harshalom, and she gets very excited about this. And whenever she sees a soup that looks good, she sends me the link. And she saves me the yogurt containers. They eat a lot of yogurt. So I make, I put the soup in the yogurt container. That saves me money. She feels so badly that she can't cook, but she no longer can physically handle even a soup pot. And so what did she do? She donated that 12-gallon soup pot that went to one of the KindWorks Afghan family whatevers. So that was a good thing. And I really do appreciate that. And she gets soup all the time. The soup that I collect and deliver, and I do deliver every Tuesday, is delivered to the Up County, well, it's just noisy, is delivered to Up County, to the Up County hub. That hub serves Gaithersburg, Germantown, and beyond. And it serves a largely Latino clientele. So that's where the soup goes. What I need to tell you is that I was told last week, if you deliver to the Up County hub in Germantown, please do not deliver Thanksgiving week, because it's going to be crazy up there, and they know it's going to be crazy. So they asked me to share that. So not on next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Thank you for remembering that. Thank you, Marge.
Okay.
Marge, will you do me a favor and put that in the chat? Just so people, I'm going to ask everyone to remember to copy the chat before they leave.
Okay.
Kevin.
I have two more things.
Sorry.
Okay. There were 6 people from Harshalom on yesterday cooking this very soup. My only comment is that it needed more something. So today I added a jalapeno. Yesterday, after I cooked it, I felt I hadn't put enough salt in. So I added some more salt, and I also added a little curry and a little red pepper. So now I'm not going to add red pepper because I added the jalapeno. So those are my suggestions. And my last thing is that one of the ways to get your soup to boil faster is to heat the water in advance in your microwave. We forgot to mention that. That's an easy thing. And now I'm done. And except for one thing, Lisa, where are you? Oh, there you are. Are you coming to my house tomorrow to deliver soup? Is anyone else bringing soup to my house tomorrow morning? Good. Okay, got it. Joyce is gone. Joyce,
she went to yoga. Thank you. And Marge, I will say, is a kindness hero, because she has created a group within a group, and she makes an enormous amount of soups, make its way up to 70 and to the Up County hub. And she is like a soup goddess. So thank you, Marge, for all that you do. And I'll say that when I made my soup yesterday, I also felt that just more spices. So all I did was add another teaspoon of the 4 or 5 spices, and I thought it was great. So that's another way to get to the finish line.
I should
want to
thank you,
say,
Deb. I need to
sorry?
thank you for A, all you do, and B, keeping my car in sort of semi-running shape, because at the beginning of the pandemic, you were supposed to drive your car every week, and I didn't have any place to go. So I'd go up to Germantown and I'd come back from Germantown. And that was
Well,
my
Marge, we help out with all kinds of
Thank
things
you.
when we can.
Thank you.
And Lisa is starting at her temple, a KindSoup session. So Lisa is going to be my next KindSoup hero. Thank you, Lisa, and I'm glad you could join us today.
Yeah, thanks. I don't usually get to come on Monday, so this is fun. And I'll just say real quick, I regularly donate to Here to Help. So I typically make soup on my own on the weekend and drop it off on Sunday. But I am also stocking up on some soup to give to a friend of mine that just went through a bone marrow transplant. And she's up in Baltimore for 70 days with various caretakers. And I'm going up in December for 10 days to stay with her. And I'm bringing soup with me because we can heat it in the microwave. And
Wish her
she'll
well
appreciate
from
that.
us.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Somebody's
Yeah,
on
and-
from Baltimore today. Sharon. Do you know Sharon, Lisa?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Aaliyah, I just wanted to say hello to you. We haven't said hi to you yet, so hello.
This is Bushka. That's my grandmother.
This is my mother-in-law.
Oh, I thought I recognized her. Oh, fantastic. Right, and-
One last thing to end on. My friend Anna found a card in one of those question card games that says, go ahead. It says here, I'll show it here, but then I'll read it. It says, if you were a soup, what type of soup would you be?
Oh my God, I love that so
Get
much.
you thinking, like, what type of soup, is your personality, or whether it's your favorite soup, or what it kind of,
I know Marge's soup, but first let me
Gotcha.
ask Kevin, who's been so patient, has had his hand up. And then I am going to announce what I believe Marge's soup would be, and everybody else be thinking about what their soups would be.
We've thought of ours.
Okay, we're going to come back to you. Kevin?
Thank you, Deb. Thanks, everyone. I just wanted to say that in addition to sharing soup, we're also going to be sharing the word, because this has been a wonderful evening. Been planting seeds of kindness everywhere, getting the story out, getting the story of the great work that you do, Deb, at KindWorks and KindSoup. So don't be surprised in the weeks ahead. You see a lot more representation from our local York community and well beyond. And my wife might want to share a few words about where we're going to share our soup.
Oh, good.
So I will hate to tell you this, but Kevin does not like soup. So this gives me the opportunity to make soup, and I can enjoy it. Actually, this was timed very well. I'm hosting several ladies from my church tomorrow at my house for spiritual direction, and we will be eating the soup. I will also be giving some to my mother, who lives in senior apartment, and she loves soup, but she never makes it because she was one person and she doesn't want a big pot for herself. So it's going many places, but this has been wonderful. I love all your enthusiasm and desire to help, and it's just been fun to jump on. We're first timers, so hopefully you'll see us again.
Oh, and I hope that you cook with us every week. Your mother-in-law, was it your mother-in-law you were talking about?
My mother.
Your
My
mother
mother.
will be thrilled, because like Holly's mother and Salma's father-in-law, bringing soups to folks who love soup. They can eat soup, and it's going to be something different every week. Is just a great way.
And I will also share that I didn't make the soup you guys are making. I didn't know the recipes, so I was making minestrone because that's one of my favorites.
Okay, well, next week I will
Sorry.
tell you we are making a butternut squash soup, kind of getting everybody ready for Thanksgiving. So please join us. We're going to stay on a little late today just because the soups aren't ready and it's too much fun talking with you all. Feel free to go when you have to go. We're going to stay on because we have a lot of we have to identify everybody's personal soup that they would be if they were a soup. So please.
And we do need to skip out. I apologize, but it was so wonderful. What a great evening. Thank you all. Happy World Kindness Day. Be kind, be good, everyone.
Happy World Kindness Day, Kevin. All right.
No,
Ready to share.
It is not borscht. So don't tell them that my
No,
favorite
it is not borscht. This is
Oh.
not the soup that I would want you to like if you were willing and able to. This is the soup that you would be if you were a soup. You know what it is, don't you, Marge?
Well, there are so many that I like.
Nope, it's not what you like. It's what soup you would be if you were a soup.
So Deb, what is it for Marge?
For Marge, I believe it is one of her favorites to fall back to soups. It's the matzo ball soup with
Oh,
jalapenos,
jalapenos.
right?
The jalapeno.
A little
nacho
Jewish, a
soup.
little spicy.
A
Yep,
little nuts.
yep, that's the
That is a
one.
kind of silly soup. No, seriously, one of my favorite soups is that autumn wild rice soup that we didn't
Yeah.
make this year
That
with
was
mushrooms.
that.
That's a good
You know
one.
what? We're making it again soon, and that was a
Good.
recipe that Saanya brought us, and Salma and Saanya made with us one of our first 3 kind soup sessions.
Early on, it was very, very good. And quickly, for those of you who don't have an immersion blender, they're on sale until whenever the sale ends at Costco for $29, and they look beautiful until the 19th of November.
Are we not full service or what?
I tell you.
All right, girls, let's hear what your soups would be.
All right, mine would be Italian wedding soup.
Because
Well, I am Italian and I just love the culture of Italian, and also just the fact that it's never really on the menu, but you kind of like when you see it on the menu, it's like, oh, like I forgot about that soup, but it's like always reliable and it's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love it.
That's great.
I would be French onion soup
because
grew up Switzerland and France, but also it's just a very cinematic soup. Like when you go. Okay, listen, I am who I am. But when you're sitting outside, it's cold in Paris, and you order French onion soup, and you have the cheesy pull, and you have the sourdough, and we're eating a whole, we've eaten an entire loaf of bread during this. It just feels right. McLean.
I love it.
Mine would be, sorry, I will get it now. I grew up in Seattle, and in the cold, like rainy days when people get sick, we would always have pho growing up. And I feel like pho would be my soup. Like it's very comforting. It's versatile. Like you can add whatever you want. If you don't like spice, you don't add the spice. If you want more spice, and you add more spice.
Yeah.
And it's always there to cheer you up on a cold day.
That's cute.
Also, it reminds me of my mom. So,
Mama, what oh, your face. You made us come up with others.
All right. Who else wants to share? We're not going to put Salma on the spot if she wants to. Martine?
Okay, so my soup would be the tomato soup with croutons.
Why do you think that represents you, Olivier?
I love that soup. It's and also, if you need a description of what I'm talking about, the creamy tomato soup at Panera Bread?
Yeah.
Basically that.
We have a recipe for you. We made it a few weeks ago, and it was very much like that Panera one. Who else knows what kind of soup they would be if they were a soup?
I would be a lovely vegetarian ramen soup with so many vegetables, because that's what I'm made of after like 40 years of vegetarianism, then pescatarian. But I think that is like what my core is about, like an assortment of vegetables in a nice, hot, soothing, comforting soup. So
I love
like
that. And
craving
Lisa,
ramen right now.
And you know what? I think Lisa Midnick is your cousin, because while you're going to be a hot veggie soup, she is a gazpacho.
Yeah,
So
I went.
yeah.
Why? Because it's fresh,
Yeah.
crunchy, with all the vegetables in it.
Yeah,
It's a little spice, not too much. Full-bodied.
I'm gonna go sit
Yeah,
down.
it cools you down.
I can see that, Lisa. Good call.
I just really like it though.
Yeah. Thank you, Saanya. Thank you for leading us.
Hi.
Thank you for sharing about Soiree and leading us.
Thank you for having me. Nice to see everyone.
Anytime.
I think I'm a minestrone, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a bit of East, a bit of West, a bit of tradition, a bit of modernity, kind of a bit of this and that.
I can see that. Peg, we've got you down as a cream of mushroom soup. Can you tell us why?
Oh, it's the best winter soup. You have to have the right mushrooms. I'm not talking about Campbell's or anything like that. But it's really
She's the fancy
delicious.
mushrooms.
With sherry in it. It's really good.
I love it.
Really, really good.
I
But I
might
do
have
like
to
a good
change my
gazpacho in
opinion.
the
I
summer.
like that the best too.
Gazpacho in the summer, but cream of mushroom in the winter.
Okay, she's got a
I
seasonal soup
love
for us.
mushroom soup.
I consider myself the type of soup to describe me is what I call clean out your refrigerator soup. Because as things in my refrigerator are starting to go, I know I kind of have it in the back of my mind. I better get into that vegetable drawer, and I just take chicken stock or vegetable stock and whatever's in there, I chop up, and it's clean out your refrigerator soup. Because I'm all about repurposing and thrifting. If you knew me really well, you would know that I'm the thrift store queen. I'm always in Goodwill. My clothes are always from thrift stores. So I love that type of thing. So I'm the clean out your refrigerator soup girl.
I could see that. That's great.
Mama, we got a thrift store queen.
And Karen Leggett has shared that she's going to be a cold strawberry soup because it's fresh and bright and reminds her of being on vacation.
Nice. I forgot to mute myself.
Can we cook that next summer? We haven't cooked a strawberry soup. That would be nice.
Karen Leggett, that request is coming straight to you. You want to lead us next summer?
Well, the biggest problem is that I don't think it freezes very well.
Oh, yeah.
I have to, it's made with yogurt, and I have to look and see whether you can, I'm not sure whether you can freeze yogurt, and most of our delivery soups really need to be frozen.
Yeah, especially during the summer. All right, well, we'll try. You have 6 months to give it a try and play with it.
Yeah, right.
All right. Anybody else that we haven't? How's everybody doing with their soups? Are your soups all kind of almost there at the tasting point? And yeah, Julia, how do you like it?
I haven't tasted yet, but it's all together and it's simmering along.
It's pretty, isn't it? It's it's just like all these beautiful little chopped veggies and the green lentils, and the spices are so good. Don't be shy if you feel like you want a little bit more spice, which is what I've been hearing. Lisa, did you end up putting any extras in yours or no? Lisa Gapanoris.
Oh, you know me.
You just stuck with what it was. And did you feel like there was plenty of flavor?
I felt it was because I did the full amount and my spices were pretty fresh, and I used all the spices. So it gave it a nice warm flavor, warm scent, warm flavor. So I think it was good. Sometimes I err on being more neutral than, more exciting, because I don't know who's going to be enjoying it.
Right.
Hopefully enjoying it.
Right. And for those of you, and that might include Lisa, but I don't know, probably others too. For those of you who have been to Morocco, does the scent of this soup remind you of Morocco? Anybody? I have not been, but I hear it's like the hot new place that all these people are telling me they're just, what, Lisa?
I was just in Morocco in September, and I would say yes. And I don't know if you can see it, but I bought this lovely little holder to hold 3 spices.
I love that.
Yep, from Morocco. And I used it this evening because it had the cumin and it had the paprika in my little holder.
Cool.
So it was lots of fun to use it. I love using it. And yeah, I would say this absolutely reminds me. It was a fabulous trip. It's a lovely country.
Oh, good. I don't know. Why did it become a hot place to visit just recently?
It's very reasonably priced. That's part of it. Really reasonably priced.
Okay. Seems to have overtaken Portugal on the ones that people are telling me. Well, great. I'm glad you got to have that trip. Olivier, were you trying to say something?
Us? No.
I thought
he's just dancing in the background.
Oh, dancing.
Dancing.
Cool.
Okay. Dancing.
That's cool.
Since it's a Moroccan soup, if I were giving it to someone else, I would put harissa in there. That would add some flavor. So I added a little bit of crushed red pepper, but I would love harissa inside.
Okay, there's the idea for people who aren't afraid of spicing up their own for tonight. A little harissa.
That's a good idea. I will tell you that the difference today from yesterday, when I followed the same recipe, the difference of adding that one jalapeno, it got sucked into the broth, which then gets absorbed by the lentils. It made a big difference.
Oh,
So,
good. And you
yeah.
like it. You like the little kick.
I do. And, you know, I'm not someone who likes a lot of spice,
Yeah.
but it definitely brings more of a something to it. Yeah, it needed a little more pepper, I think. And
Okay. Yeah, I did put more pepper too. Yeah. All right. Well, if everybody feels like they are in a good place, Lenny, we haven't spoken to you, and you, we hadn't seen you in like a year and a half. How's your new kitchen and how are things?
Everything's good. The new kitchen is a joy to work in.
Oh, good.
It's such a joy, and it's such a joy to be back with this wonderful group. Each of you really made an impression on me, and I couldn't wait to get back, but it took a while, but it's so nice to see you know, familiar faces and to connect. And as far as a soup, well, I would say a spinach dal soup. It must be running in my veins by now, because during the, you know, remodeling of our kitchen, I had spinach dal soup almost every day. It was so simple to prepare, and I just cubed some turkey and put it in, and it was a whole meal with a little salad. So I also am married to an Indian man. So spinach dal soup is certainly a soup I'll never forget, and part of who I am today.
That's fantastic. And you just reminded me that while we're making a butternut squash soup on Monday for getting us ready for Thanksgiving, and it's such a warm and delicious fall vegetable, the week after Thanksgiving, we are being led by one of our newer members, and she's going to be teaching, cooking with us an Indian soup. I can't remember exactly which one right now, but it's on the website. I encourage you all to kind of find your way to the website, not only to report the soups that you made today and how you're sharing them, but to just kind of always prepare in advance to buy your ingredients over the weekend and maybe start shopping when you've got some downtime. And I hope to see all of you next Monday and every Monday thereafter, except Karen, who's going to be cooking with the people in her building on their own, at their own pace, at their own time and at their own pace. But thank you all so much. As I promised, if you're on social media, this worked magic for me. I was in a tired and cranky mood about the state of the world, and I am a happy girl right now. So I appreciate every one of you for showing up and turning my frown upside down. And I hope that we did the same for you. We will be here doing that every Monday from 5 to 6.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much. It was
Oh,
really
don't forget to
inspiring.
copy the chat if you want. There's good stuff.
Tell your friends about us and bring friends along.
Please do.
Thanks.
All
Thanks.
right.
Take care.
Bye.
I'd like to say something.
No, I was
Go
just
ahead,
gonna,
Olivier.
I was just, yeah, he was saying that I wanted to say something, and I
Oh,
just wanted to say was so inspiring to hear all of the stories of kindness tonight. Thank you so much. It really is inspiring, and we're so happy to be part of this lovely, lovely group. So thank you.
Bye all.
Bye, everyone. Happy World Kindness Day.